Oscar-nominated actor Russell Crowe reacts to accusations of blowing his top after an award show.
I don't feel that I need to apologize to him, you know. I believe in everything I said.
In his own words, no remorse from Russell. He stands behind bulletproof glass, the neighbor accused of killing little 7-year-old Danielle van Dam. But who is Mystery Man Westerfield? What you don't know about the suspect 2 doors down. Then, furniture that looks perfectly safe can be dangerous.
He was just the happiest little thing.
Watch what happens when I open all the drawers.
Falling furniture, see what we found. Then the simple fix that could save a child's life. Plus, Robin Williams' big return to stand-up comedy.
Oh, it was wild.
Does he still have it? And just before the Grammys,
they partied.
Inside the best pre-Grammy parties. Now, Inside Edition with Deborah Norville.
Hi, everybody, and thanks for joining us. Call actor Russell Crowe, a man who sticks to his guns. Yesterday, we told you about his reported blow-up after the British version of the Oscars. Well, as Paul Boyd reports, Crowe is now saying he meant every word of it.
Russell Crowe arrived with girlfriend Danielle Spencer to last night's Australian premiere of A Beautiful Mind. But the film wasn't the only thing on Crowe's mind last night. For the first time, Crowe spoke publicly about Sunday night's heated run-in with the director of the British Film Awards, Malcolm Gerrie.
I don't feel that I need to apologize to him, you know. I believe in everything I said, and I'll stand by it.
Although Crowe says he may have been passionate, he had no regrets about his behavior.
I was a little irked, you know, at the beginning of the conversation, and when he dismissed what it was that I was trying to talk about.
According to published reports, Crowe pinned Gerrie against the wall and unleashed a foul-mouthed tirade. Crowe wouldn't describe what he did as violent, but he says he did poke Gerrie on the shoulder, all because the director edited out a minute of Crowe's acceptance speech for the award show's British broadcast. Crowe won for playing John Nash in A Beautiful Mind.
This is really is an honor. Talking about over a minute of the speech. We're talking about a thank you to John and Alicia Nash, who this movie is based on, being cut out.
Also cut out was a poem called Sanctity by Patrick Kavanagh. Last night, reporters were all ears when Crowe finally got his chance to have the poem heard.
To be a poet, to not know your trade, to be a lover, and repel all women. Twin ironies by which great saints are made. The agonizing pincher jaws of heaven. I shouldn't have my opportunity of communication to a wider audience cut short by his incompetence.
In the end, Crowe will have his way. His entire speech will be heard when the award show is rebroadcast internationally to an estimated audience of 1 billion people. And Crowe had this to say when asked about whether this latest incident will impact that other award show, which is only 1 month away, the Oscars.
Well, we'll just wait and see, won't we? You know, I think the Oscars are supposed to be about the performance that you've given and what have you. I don't think I'm nominated for worst argument with an English TV executive.
We reached a spokesperson for the director, Malcolm Gerrie, today, and he said they are sticking by their opinion that Crowe was abusive and unreasonable. Words of another sort are making news in Florida, where an old woman who survived for days in a swamp after a devastating car crash finally got what she wanted, an apology. Stacey Sweet explains.
The man accused of running Tillie Tooter off the road came to court today in Fort Lauderdale. 23-year-old Scott Campbell was sentenced to 5 years probation, but more importantly, to the amazing woman who survived that terrifying swamp ordeal, Campbell was also ordered to apologize.
I'd like to tell you from the bottom of my heart that I'm truly sorry for the ordeal you went through. I feel very remorseful, and I just wanted to say that I'm very sorry, and my thoughts will always be with you.
And while she surprised everyone by living through 3 days in a swamp, she surprised us again today by what she had to say in court.
I have no business to talk to you anymore. I didn't begin with. I just hope that you will make a good life for yourself. And that's all I want to say to you.
And then an emotional Tillie Tooter walked over to Campbell, took his hand, and said she wished him well. She said she hoped he would turn out to be a good person. And as any good grandmother would, she told him to help mend his mother's heart. Tooter was on her way to pick up her granddaughter at the airport in Fort Lauderdale in August of 2000 when she was hit from behind, her car forced over a guardrail and into a swamp. Scott Campbell was charged with leaving the scene of an accident and with making a false police report. At the time, he told police he hit the guardrail, but did not mention hitting another car. Scott Campbell will now be on probation for 5 years. As for Tooter, she's still recovering from most of her injuries and now has to use a walker to get around. She says she'll never forget her 3 days in the swamp, days she thought would be her last.
I pity him that he has to go through what he's going to go through now. If he has any kind of conscience, it should be bothering him. And I think it is.
Tillie Tooter is still behind the wheel of a car, driving a car a local dealer gave her after the accident. It's back to its roots for comedian Robin Williams. The Chicago-born comic returned to his hometown to do something he hasn't done in many, many years, a stand-up act. Has he still got the touch? April Woodard reports.
Oh, it was wild. It comes back and you find your balance pretty quick.
That's Robin Williams last night in Chicago, and this wasn't just any night for the manic funny man. He's launching his first solo stand-up comedy tour in 15 years.
Hey, Dave, it's me!
We've come to expect the unexpected from Robin Williams on TV and in the movies. In Chicago, where Williams was born, camera crews weren't allowed inside. But lucky ticket holders report he was topical and hilarious, hitting on everything from Enron to anthrax.
I thought it was awesome.
Fantastic. I haven't cried that much in a long time.
It was incredible, man.
Alan Johnson is a reviewer with the Chicago Tribune. We met up with him as he wrote his review of the show. He says Williams's comedy isn't quite as cutting edge as it once was, but regardless, he says the tour should be a smash hit.
I think the audiences are going to love him. I think they're going to appreciate his material. They're really going to appreciate seeing him back.
But it won't last long, just 25 towns in a little over a month.
40 days. It's biblical in that sense.
Is it hard work?
No, it's a blast. It's just like I'm gassed up.
Along with his return to stand-up, Williams is aiming to change his movie image. Unlike those nice guys he's been playing lately, he'll play a psychopath in his next movie called Insomnia. Coming up, he's the neighbor accused of killing little Danielle van Dam. But who is the mystery man behind this bulletproof glass? The suspect, 2 doors down.
Then, furniture that looks perfectly safe can be dangerous.
Watch what happens when I open all the drawers.
Today's headline story, Falling Furniture. See what we found. Plus, inside the best of the pre-Grammy parties. Inside Edition with Deborah Norville will be right back.
If you've got kids, you've probably child-proofed the house. You've covered the electrical outlets, put locks on the cabinets so kids can't get into them. But have you done anything about the furniture? It could be a killer. Matt Mahar with a consumer investigation that every parent should watch in today's headline story.
Wendy Barron is listening to what was her son Jared's favorite song and remembering what made him a special baby.
He was just full of life, full of energy.
But last July, Wendy discovered in a most tragic way a common household danger that cost Jared his life. She entered his room to find him pinned to the ground beneath a piece of furniture.
I opened the door and saw the dresser on top of Jared, and Jared was laying like this. And all I wanted was him to be breathing, and he wasn't.
Jared died of asphyxiation, his lungs crushed from the weight of the wicker dresser that had fallen on his tiny body.
What do you think he was trying to do?
He was trying to get to the light.
A moon-shaped lamp sitting on top of a tall dresser. It was an enticement for Jared to climb up and reach for it.
Most likely what he had done was he had pulled out this drawer, which he had done every day, and pulled out that one and climbed. And as he got to the top being top-heavy, it came down on top of him.
It sounds like a freak accident, but according to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, more than 5,000 children are injured each year by furniture tip-overs. In Mesa, Arizona last year, 5-year-old Orvid Cutler suffered severe head trauma when a television perched on a dresser toppled over on him. He survived. And 2-year-old Kelsey Wright of Benicia, California, survived a fractured skull when a television fell on her last spring. But 3-year-old Gavin Hunt of Jackson, Michigan, could not survive a dresser that fell on him last March.
It doesn't take much force at all. You just sort of pull this right on top of it.
Don Mays is the technical director of the Good Housekeeping Institute. He says since there are no mandatory tip-over standards for furniture, it's buyer beware.
They don't necessarily inform the public of what the hazard is. And a lot of times they don't put warnings on the furniture to tell people that there are serious tip-over risks.
How serious? We purchase common household furniture and ask Mays to evaluate it for safety.
It doesn't look unsafe. It doesn't look unsafe, but watch what happens when I open all the drawers.
May says bookcases tend to be top-heavy and found this tall, narrow bookcase to be a potential hazard.
So this could easily fall down on a child if he's climbing up on it.
Absolutely. This would be a real danger for a curious child.
But May says there's an easy fix for tipping furniture. Just anchor the furniture into the walls or floors. There's a wide variety of items that can do the trick.
It's easy to do. You need a drill and a screwdriver. That's all it takes.
So could these potential dangers be lurking in your home? We asked 4 families in Essex County, New Jersey, all with young children, if they were willing to have a safety spot check. We took along home safety expert and host of television's Ron Hazelton's House Calls.
I would say this definitely should be secured to the wall.
Just moments after walking into the first home, Hazelton finds a potential hazard. At first glance, it looks safe.
It's not bad, but yeah. I couldn't have described, the potential problem any better than that. The issues are this: a lot of attractive things up here for the children. They may want to, especially someone this size, may want to climb up.
He found hazards at every home we visited.
I would get the weight down on this, and again, that to a child looks like a ladder.
Okay, a classic baby's bureau.
This really concerns me.
Yeah.
Again, it's tall, it's narrow.
Because it won't take a toddler long to make steps out of those drawers.
It won't, and you can see the sort of domino effect when this starts to tip. Everything else comes over, the child falls backward. You've got all kinds of physics working to pull this over on top of the child.
But despite the hazards Hazelton found, he also found some things parents were doing right. Bolted bookcases, TVs kept low and against the wall, blocks of wood to level furniture, and toys stored at kid level, so they're not climbing on drawers and shelves.
Yeah, and you've got your CDs, your more adult things up on the upper shelves there. That's very good. Yeah, excellent.
And to all the parents, an inexpensive piece of advice.
Sure, I want to see this attached to the wall.
Oh.
Some kind of a bracket at the top, a little L bracket at the top, just to be sure.
Brackets that cost just a couple of dollars and can be purchased at any hardware store. It's advice Wendy Barron says she wishes she'd been given, but now wants to pass along to other parents before it's too late.
I want them to go into their kids' rooms, and I want them to look at every piece of furniture that's in their room, everything that's on the walls, everything, and I want them to make sure that it's secure. It doesn't take but $2. If I had just spent that $2, my son would be here right now.
Now, some furniture pieces do come with brackets or straps to protect against tip-overs. Otherwise, just go out and buy some L brackets like these. They don't cost a lot. Screw one end into the furniture, the other end into the wall or floor. There are also inexpensive kits that you can buy that come with everything you need, including full instructions. But the experts warn that whatever method you use, make sure that the bracket is screwed into a beam in the wall so that it will hold securely. And if you'd like some more information about this story, just go to our website, InsideEdition.com.
Still to come, he's charged with murdering missing San Diego girl Danielle Van Dam. But who is David Westerfield? New information about the man in the glass booth. Plus, the hottest star-studded pre-Grammys party. The huge surprise guest rehearsing for tonight's big show. And will notorious tabloid queens Tanya Harding and Amy Fisher be duking it out? Production assistance for Inside Edition provided by...
You know, I wouldn't wish a yeast infection on my worst enemy. Okay, I would. But for you, get Azo. All-natural symptom prevention and relief in a pill.
Stay tuned. There's more Inside Edition to come.
we wait for the reading of the complaint.
That is 50-year-old David Westerfield at his arraignment yesterday on charges of murder and kidnapping his 7-year-old neighbor. The San Diego district attorney says they could seek the death penalty against Westerfield. However, since Danielle Van Dam's body has not yet been found, the DA says it is possible that prosecutors might try to make a deal to avoid the death penalty in exchange for information on where the body is located. Les Trent has more on the man who has been accused of this unthinkable crime.
He claims he didn't do it, and some people close to David Westerfield also find it hard to believe he could have murdered 7-year-old Danielle Van Dam. Does Westerfield fit the profile of a man capable of such a crime? Until now, the only blemish on his record was a 1996 arrest for driving under the influence. He pleaded guilty and paid a fine. In his personal life, he's a twice-divorced father of 2.
He's very, very dedicated to his family, very dedicated to his kids. You know, spending a lot of time with his kids, making sure that everything is fine for them.
Carmen Genovese and Ron Lawrence are longtime friends and neighbors of Westerfield's. We spoke with them prior to his arrest.
Dave is a very warm individual. He's the one to bend over backwards to give you anything you need, any help you want.
This woman would disagree. Brenda Van Dam, who broke down in court at the sight of the man accused of kidnapping and killing her daughter just days after he reportedly bought Girl Scout cookies from Danielle. Who is this man? He's a software engineer as well as an inventor, having patented 3 medical devices, including a pulley that helps people undergoing rehabilitation.
As a worker, I think he's an incredibly dedicated, hard-working, hard-driving person.
It's even been reported that Westerfield belongs to the high-intelligence organization known as Mensa, but so far his official membership is yet to be confirmed in California.
He's an incredibly meticulous guy.
In short, Westerfield would appear to have been a model citizen. Former New York City Police Detective Bo Dietl says appearances can be deceiving.
They're married with children, some of them are divorced. It could be as normal as your next-door neighbor.
Prosecutors have added the charge of possessing child pornography. Coming up, we've got a look ahead to tonight's Grammy Awards.
Today's Inside Track is brought to you by the family of Clorox Laundry and Home Care products. Mama's got the magic from Clorox. Shouldn't you?
On today's Inside Track, violet-eyed Elizabeth Taylor turns 70 today. Most people know she's been married 8 times, but do you know how many children she has? The answer when we come back.
Production assistance for Inside Edition provided by...
Now at Pearl Vision, buy 1 pair of glasses, choose 1 free. Select a second pair of computer glasses or even prescription sunglasses. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
So, how many children does Elizabeth Taylor have? She's got 4, sons Michael and Christopher Wilding, and 2 daughters, Lizzie and Maria. Elizabeth says despite turning 70 today, she feels like she's 45. Next month, she'll serve as maid of honor at Liza Minnelli's wedding. Coming up next, how the music world is getting ready for its biggest night of the year.
After all you've seen about the case of Danielle, the missing 7-year-old, there's something the parents of another pretty missing girl want you to know. The story you haven't seen. What really happened to Erica, the little lost cheerleader? Then, the real dramas beyond the red carpet. Inside Grammy night. The news, the parties, the glamour. Can't miss coverage. Watch the next Inside Edition.
And finally, today, the music world has gone west for tonight's Grammy Awards ceremony in Los Angeles. Stacey Galante's got a preview and more in today's Celebrity Roundup.
Stevie Wonder and an all-star cast got the party started last night at a pre-Grammy bash. Britney Spears was there with boyfriend Justin Timberlake and his band NSYNC. Maya revealed her Grammy fashion strategy.
Can you give me a little hint? Let's just say hot.
And check out this rehearsal. Christina Aguilera, Maya, Pink, and Little Kim are joined on stage by Patti LaBelle, who recorded the original Lady Marmalade. We know Tanya Harding doesn't pull any punches in an interview.
Leave me alone.
But now the queen of skating scandals is reportedly going to put on gloves and climb in the boxing ring with Long Island Lolita Amy Fisher on a Fox TV special in March. The competition was much friendlier at the 40th annual Quick and Easy Pillsbury Bake Off, where Marie Osmond was the perfect host.
They're giving away $1 million. I mean, it's incredible.
Competing for that $1 million, 100 down-home recipes from breadsticks,
Open sesame pickup sticks.
to chocolate pudding.
This is definitely a winner.
But the grand prize went to
Chicken Florentine Panini.
Denise Yenny from Nashville, Tennessee.
So what do you think would happen if you took the Pillsbury Bake Off and you had Tanya Harding and Amy Fisher doing that? Now, that's a competition. That's Inside Edition for today. I'm Deborah Norville. We're going to leave you with more of that Grammy performance of Lady Marmalade. We'll see you again tomorrow.
On tomorrow's Inside Edition, the other lost children.